I speak with Yeleni Angeli, who is the woman, I'm sorry to give your age, but just you're the lady in her 70s, and you were trying to get to your mum, who is Tina Thornborough. And I'm also joined by Leandra Ashton, who we've, of course, heard the video and some of her commentary. She's the actress and she's the granddaughter of the woman. So thank you very much for coming on, ladies. If I may start with you, Elenia, if I can call you that. Most importantly, how is your mum? Good morning.
Well, yeah, that is the big question. I don't know how she is. I don't have any contact with her. Yesterday, when we managed to see her for that brief period of time, she knew us. She was kissing us. She was crying. We were all crying.
How long? When did you last see your mum?
Well, we haven't had a visit since lockdown, but my mother was actually admitted into hospital in York with pneumonia, and the hospital actually allowed us to visit every day and to feed my mother. They said it was in her best interest that we were there, and that's what it's about. It's in the person's best interest, but the care home, unfortunately, won't allow us.
And how long has your mother been in the care home?
She went in March. Was
in
it?
March? My God.
Not, yes,
just over a year, right? Is it as long as
well,
that?
it was. No, it's. I think it's under. Okay. It was just as lockdown was coming in.
And what is the legal position here, either to you or Leandra, if you know? Who I don't know who has the rights over your grandmother or your mother, effectively? Who has? Is it the care home then who has the right over her, effectively?
So we're in this really difficult moment. What the situation is that we don't have power of attorney for her welfare. We only have power of attorney for her finances. So this is something, again, that your listeners really need to be aware of. It's if a relative, for want of a better expression, loses their mind, then this question of power of attorney needs to be in place. And if it's not, then decisions have to be made with the family and with the local authorities. However, what we found during lockdown is that our voices are not being heard. We are being cut out of decision-making processes with my grandmother. It took the police to tell us that my nan had a new social worker. We were told that we weren't on the correct paperwork. We were told that our safeguarding issue that we raised with the care home because of the deterioration of my grandmother has has evaporated. It's disappeared. So we're kind of stuck in this Kafkaesque nightmare where, of course, something incredibly desperate happens where you break into a care home in order to hug your mother, and then we ended up walking out with her.
Presumably the way forward, Leandra or Yelena, is to move mum or grandma, is it, if you can?
Yes, I desperately want to care for my mother at home, which they're not allowing me to do. I am a trained nurse.
Yeah.
I have a lot of experience in looking after the elderly. What I see just breaks my heart, and I know that people all around the country are feeling the same.
So we have a situation where so many people don't want to do this. You want to bring your mum home so you can look after her, and the state is not allowing it.
Yeah. Exactly. And I think what's really important, Nick, to highlight here, we are not alone. Like, there are thousands and thousands of families at the moment that are in this position under this guise of protecting and under this guise of saving lives. I find it sickening, because let's just be clear about something here. The number one killer still in the UK, according to the Office of National Statistics, is dementia. However, interestingly, that number is at its lowest in a 5-year average. And that is because we are pointing deaths to COVID. Yep. So this is the thing, we're getting so focused on COVID, and deaths are being incorrectly attributed to that we're not focused on all these other issues that are as important, if not more important.
I totally agree with you. Just to round off the story, just to go back to your mother, Leanne, you were aware you were breaking the law?
It wasn't intentional. It was just, I think, emotions were so high. Not really.
Okay, that's fair. How would you say, again, it might be easier for Leandra, I don't know what yours, would you say the police, we know what happened, but what was their mood towards you, or towards you as the granddaughter, whichever?
The police were as good as they possibly could be. It was a difficult situation for them to be in, and to be honest, they didn't want to arrest my mum, but they were being told by social services that this is what had to happen. So the only option they had, my mum said, the only way you're going to get my mother into that care home is if you arrest me. Right. So they did.
And how was Grandma how was Mrs. Chipman subsequently taken back to them by the police?
No, that she was driven back in our car by the police officer.
Right. And I'm sorry, did she know what was going on, or was she left hugely confused by all of this?
She was all right because of dementia. I think she thought maybe she was having a ride out in the car. We actually bought her coffee and a cream cake. And she was enjoying a cream cake.
I mean, she was really happy to see us. This was amazing. And she, when we unfortunately had to hand her back into the care home, we just quite calmly said, you're going to go and have your tea now and we'll see you later. But of course, we're not going to see her later. And this is what families across the country are in the same position. And
just to clarify, Elena, you weren't being physical towards the police officers in any way, shape or form. You weren't, offering resistance or trying to hit them with a car iron or anything like that.
I actually have praise for the policemen. I mean, I do appreciate the difficult position they were in. Okay. I think they were very sympathetic with us. I think one of the policemen as well had a very sad story about his mother, which we shared together. Okay. And so although it was horrible and I didn't like the handcuffs and the whole thing, I was so concerned about my daughter, who was visibly upset, and my
of course.
I was in the middle.
Lastly, how long did you have the handcuffs on, Elena?
Well, I had them on during the ride back to the care home. So
they kept you handcuffed as they drove you back to the care home in their car?
Yes.
What did they think you were going to do? Dear God. Okay, let's start to move towards the end. Leandra, what do you think needs to come out of this case, which obviously is making almost front page news? What needs to happen next?
Nick, we need to challenge the worst virus that we currently have in this country, and that is fear. There is so much fear in this country that we are not thinking rationally. We are focusing on one illness that, although it is bad, it is not the only illness. We need to be having open debate about real health, not minutiae. We need to be having a debate that involves lots of different voices, and people like us need to be given key worker status so that we can go in and see our relatives. This narrative of fear and of shutting down and shutting up and staying safe needs to shift to living life. Not saving life, but living life.
The collateral damage that is being caused to families across the country is huge. There's so much destruction and families are just falling apart. It's destroying us. Please, let us see our relatives. Let us help the care homes. We're here to help you.